Patrick Bet-David is on an interesting trajectory. You know, one of the things when I started this program was I actually did like, when I moved from, you know, basically started it as a podcast. I did write up like a thing of, this is what how I would approach somebody and ask for an investment of like $200,000 into the show. And I ultimately never sent it to anybody because I was always concerned that people would want some type of return on their on the show, frankly. And I didn't want that kind of pressure that I had shareholders. If you're a multi-millionaire who, let's say you've made your money from like a, what is that called, Matt? The
pyramid scheme. MLM.
Multi-level marketing.
Okay,
multi-level marketing, not a
sorry.
Pyramid
We don't use pyramid scheme, but multi-level marketing. Right.
Multi-level marketing scam. And if you use and if you make all your money from that, and then you're like, I'm going to be a media superstar, and so I'm gonna buy a building, or I'm gonna rent a building. I'm gonna build a beautiful set. I'm gonna have all these offices down in Florida. I'm gonna sponsor all these things. I'm going to pump a lot of money in advertising. I'm going to fly down guests and put them up at hotels. I'm going to deficit spend to make my company, you know, big and get big returns. And I've got big dreams, and I'm going to call it infotainment or valuetainment, where there's like a value and an entertainment to it. And since I have value and entertainment, I'm going to combine it to call it valuetainment. And then when maybe like you start getting big numbers, but you just start to realize like, wait a second, I got 12 people, I got like 15, 20 people working for me. I'm not making the kind of money I thought I would on year 5 or whatever my projections were. Then you really got to maybe lower your standards and pursue some stuff that might be a little bit more cash rich. So I give you Patrick Bet-David with MMA fighter Bryce Mitchell. And Bryce Mitchell has some very interesting ideas about the Jews. In this instance, he uses some of the Muslims as a way of trying to explicate his perspective on some of the Jews.
And then, so now walk me through what you think about Jews and Israel. So what do you think about the religion of Judaism and Israel?
Well, I think even the Bible says that the Bible definitely says that people that call themselves Jews are not. So Jesus said that. I mean, just straight out of his mouth, he said people will say that they're Jews, but they are not. They're wicked. And I think that that's what's going on. And I believe that 99% of the Jews are really nice people, but who has all the wealth, you know? A lot of rich Jews, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of the more elite rich Jews are conspiring to take that land back, kill all Muslims and Christians.
You think kill all Muslims and Christians?
Oh, pause it for 1 second.
You think Jews want to kill?
Now let's hand it to Patrick Bet-David. He's really pushing back on this. You think they're killing Muslims and Christians?
Well, I mean, didn't you hear Jesus said it? Jesus said it, so proof is in the pudding.
This is honestly like, you can't get any more sort of like cookie cutter anti-Semitism than this.
Yeah, the ease with which he said it too. It was like, you know that he's had this conversation with his buddies and his family.
Oh, he's developed this theory
100 times. It was so nonchalant. The most insane anti-Semitism just rolls off the tongue.
And Patrick Bet-David is doing a great job of exposing this, because unless you heard this guy speak ever before, you wouldn't know. And I'm being facetious. Yes. I mean, this is platforming anti-Semitism. Where's his Jewish co-host? How come he's not in camera frame there? Is he there? Do we know?
Let me double check, but
I'd be very curious. All right, let's go back and listen to a little more of this investigative report by Patrick Bet-David.
Can we just focus on Patrick Bet-David saying, well, they're killing Christians too, like as if, it's one thing. Look, it's one thing if they're killing hundreds of thousands of Muslims. Yeah, exactly.
That's his pushback. Wait, Christians as well?
Is he not? I thought he was from Iran, if I'm not mistaken, Patrick Bet-David. But okay, all right. Okay, gotcha.
It might be from Persia.
Okay.
People, but who has all the wealth, a lot of rich Jews, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of the more elite rich Jews are conspiring to take that land back, kill all Muslims and Christians.
You think kill all Muslims and Christians?
Yes.
You think Jews want to kill all Muslims and Christians?
I think the elite ones do, yeah. I think a lot of the elite Jews want to kill Christians and Muslims.
Why would you say that? What would make you think that's their motive?
Well, I mean, that's just what they believe in. They deny Jesus Christ, and so they view themselves as superior. A lot of now, I'm not saying every single Jew, but you got to realize there's a lot of very, very
I want you to imagine that the elite Jews that he's talking about kill all the Christians and the Muslims in the world, and then presumably it would just be Jews and Hindus and Buddhists. We'd have a lot more elbow room because there would be a lot of people killed in that instance. And I guess the elite Jews have some type of plan to make up for the workforce and the supply lines.
Yeah.
How happy do you think Elon Musk is when he hears a guy like this say all the rich people are Jews?
Right. Yeah, I mean, Christians...
Or Patrick Bet-David, or Bill Gates, or anybody else. Go ahead, keep going.
No, but like just getting these numbers up, as of 2023, Christians are 2.4 billion. That's 31% of the global population. Islam, 1.6 billion, 23%. So add that together, he's essentially saying that this like 0.2% of the global population right now, Jewish people, are on track to kill a majority of the world.
See, that's why I've always been one of those Jews who just wants to kill all Christians.
That's
because I'm like, let's not bite off more than we can chew.
Right.
But I don't move up high enough in the pecking order because I don't have the cash.
You're not elite.
PPD should have had Ben Shapiro in studio for this.
Go back a little bit. I mean, look, Patrick Bet-David, this is not a coincidence. I mean, we've had this conversation about Patrick Bet-David before.
Yeah.
When he was talking about the Daily Jew Wire or whatever it was he was calling it.
Yeah.
Candace Owens on. Yeah.
This conversation does not make Patrick Bet-David as uncomfortable as one would hope.
No.
Yes.
Let's go back a little bit.
It's just what they believe in. They deny Jesus Christ, and so they view themselves as superior. A lot of now, I'm not saying every single Jew, but you got to realize there's a lot of very, very wealthy Jews that have a lot of power, and I think these are the people that are over there bombing innocent Muslims. A lot of these Muslims getting bombed, they didn't do nothing. They're just innocent women and children just getting bombed, and I think that elite Jews are the main cause of all the innocent Muslims dying.
What do you think? Okay,
but they use Christian tax dollars
to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. So at least financially, they're very frugal. Maybe is a word where they're willing to borrow your money to do it, not their own money to do it.
Exactly.
Okay. So let me ask you: who do you trust more? Who do you trust more? Do you trust more a Muslim's motive or a Jew's motive? And I'm talking specifically the ones of power and the ones of influence.
I think that the Jews conspire more than Muslims do. I think the Muslims, if anything, just want to be left alone. But they're not going to be left alone. They're going to be continuously bombed. That Iran and Iraq, all that area, they're going to be pushed to the point where they have to retaliate. And those Muslims they're going to form armies. They're going to bring the Russians and Chinese into the fight, and they're going to retaliate. I think all those Muslims are going to gang up and give hell on this earth. But I believe that they're being pushed to that point. I don't think that a lot of them are that evil. I mean, some of them are, but you also have some evil Christians out there, But
yeah.
Okay. He literally yes-ands the anti-Semitism.
Yeah, PPD's followers.
Let me rephrase what you're saying there. What you're trying to say is they're frugal. They're really cheap, the Jews, right? I mean, That's what you're trying to say. Go ahead. Keep going.
He's a Christian. He's a Christian nationalist, this freak. And I mean, not a luminary, but like when he says they're using Christian tax dollars, it's just incredible how they.
Well, I mean, this is why it's bad
everybody.
to suggest that it's all Israel running the entire show and not foreground the fact that actually this pays some dividends to America as well. Haig, old military guy, called Israel the our unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Middle East. Like, I do think it's important to actually. I mean, this has been going on for how many months now, and it's getting a lot of attention. Now, all of a sudden, people have are putting on anti-Semitic sort of frames to it. This is a real disaster.
Well, phrase it in this way. It's not. I mean, people should just if you want a shorthand to talk about this, Zionism is a political ideology
and a Christian invention.
But even if you want to just make it like Judaism and Islam and Christianity are religions. Christian nationalism is not Christianity. Like Muslim nationalism or, I don't know, fundamentalism is not Islam. And Zionism, in this instance, is a political ideology that's backed up by our military and our government. That's not Judaism. And I just like... It's incredible how I feel like this vacuum has been filled by some of the most disgusting people on the planet who just feel comfortable saying this.
Because we don't talk about it as political structures, and now instead it's just like cultures.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know. This is not a good sign of where things are heading. I don't think.
No. I mean, the idea that he's going to be platformed on a show. I don't know how many million people see that. I mean, this is he's getting a lot of views.
Is that still up on YouTube, Bradley? I mean, I'm sorry. Like, back in the day, if Crowder was talking like this, that would have gotten a strike. I'm not saying that anybody wants to go over there and check it out.
Ruben had a bunch of stuff of like literal Holocaust deniers. Like,
okay, well, people can still go over to the video and say I have an issue with this if they so choose.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.